Hi, welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. My name's Cicely, your co-host, and this is your host,
Hayden.
And today we're talking about The Exorcist. Came out in 1973. It's definitely rated R. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes long, and it's rated an 8.1 on IMDb.
And in case anyone didn't know what this movie's about,
it's when a teenage girl is possessed by a mysterious entity. Her mother enlists the help of 2 priests to save her daughter.
Okay. Now on the fifth try of this podcast today.
Literally.
So we'll start talking about the movie. We'll start off with some scenes that we like, which there are a lot of scenes in this movie that I really did like. As you like to say, the aesthetic.
Definitely.
The
vibes.
But coming from the aesthetic part, right in the beginning, there's a beautiful shot of landscapes. Sunsets, ruins, the Arabic memorials and stuff like that.
Gorgeous.
All that is just a beautiful scenery.
Gorgeous.
And it's kind of a cool scene to see like that side of it before it gets into the ugliness of the movie.
The house was really pretty too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
But this is a gruesome movie.
Yeah, for sure.
An unsettling movie, for sure. It's a good movie, obviously. Just very, very unsettling and heavy. Going right into the next one, there's always a heavy sense of mystery in this movie, I think. Because no matter what scene you're in, you don't quite understand what's going on. You know, it's like introducing you to characters and their lives and whatnot, but it still has that sense of mystery, like you need to be figuring something out. Like you're not going to know every answer.
Yeah, like the whole beginning.
Yeah, like the whole beginning is like a whole
lost me.
Mystery into these people's lives. And I mean, it's a normal focus on that normal life. They really want you to understand that these people have a normal life before awful things happen to them.
A really good life.
Yeah, right before shit happens, the shit hits the fan.
The shit goes down.
But right in the beginning there is that famous theme song. You know, the piano right towards the beginning, like when you first see Chris and Reagan. Everyone knows that theme song. It's like it's like the Michael Myers song.
Yeah.
You know Michael Myers, you know Elm Street, you know Friday 13th, Exorcist, even the Poltergeist one, everyone knows. So we get an idea of where that theme song came from. Not that we didn't know, but like we get a look into that famous theme. There's also a big priest focus in this. Obviously, this has to do with an exorcism, all about like the priest trying to get the demon to leave Reagan's body and everything, but there's a big focus on the priest's life. Like trying to get you into his background, get you to feel for him when he goes and visits his mother, taking care of his mother and stuff, but also showing like he's not a perfect priest either.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so heavily focused on all that.
It's kind of like foreshadowing why the demon later in the movie takes him so easily. Because he's not a perfect priest. He's not even a perfect person. No one is, of course, but
Period.
like he drinks, he smokes. I think I heard him swear a few times in the movie, and he's not a perfect person.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. I just mean like that's a big no-no for in the church for priests to do all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
So it shows that kind of impurity within him that everyone has. You know, no priest is perfect, and that kind of shows why later in the movie the demon takes him instead of killing him straight out like he did with Marin. The demon just straight up killed Marin because he wasn't being let into his body. He seemed to be, from what you can tell through the context of the movie, he seemed to be the better priest, more following his virtues in the church and stuff. And of course there's that normal build-up of a loving family, them all joking around, chasing each other around, having dinner, cooking, cleaning, and all that other stuff.
That was cute to see. I thought they were a cute mom and daughter duo. I thought the little girl was super cute too.
Yeah, she's really, really cool. Really a great actress in this movie too.
Did you look up how old she was?
At the time? Wasn't she actually 14?
I have no idea. That's why I asked.
Oh, I think it said that she was actually 14 in the movie.
Let me jujule it.
Okay, you jujule it. I like the start of the possession, showing her being possessed. There's the little bed shaking and, kind of like a switch in personality for her. She's starting to swear. she's starting to be mean, angry, and it shows like a completely 180 flip of the character, and her mom mentions that at one point too. I like that they showed that gradual process, not so much all of a sudden one day she was possessed and turned into demon Reagan, you know?
So in the movie she was 12, but in real life she was 14.
Okay, I thought she was near the movie age. I thought she was actually 14 in the movie and she was 14 in real life.
I think she says it in the movie that she's 12. I think I remember her saying that.
I don't remember.
She told somebody she was 12.
Either way, they did cast pretty perfectly for her. She was very good in this movie. The next scene is that piano scene where they're all singing around the piano, and you want to talk about this one? I know you like this scene a lot.
I think it's funny. It reminds me of the Scary Movie version where she just starts pissing on the carpet.
But in the Scary Movie,
she
Brenda comes over with a shoe or a newspaper or something and starts baiting her like a dog.
So anytime I see that scene, I can't really see it any other way.
Yeah.
But in the Scary Movie version, her mom gets a lot angrier. But in the real movie, she didn't get that angry, and she gave her a nice sponge bath.
Yeah, well, she knew she was sick.
Yeah.
In the movie.
But everybody looked at her daughter, and they were like,
this is awkward.
She's just peeing on the carpet.
Did she just do this around this house?
Just pee anywhere?
It's a callback to that normal loving family they showed you earlier. This is the beginning process of the possession, but like she still loves her daughter even though she's sick and doing things that are completely avoidable, to be honest.
I think they jumped to her being possessed a little too fast, because I don't know if you noticed, one scene she was like completely fine, and then in the doctor's office she was like a whole different person. Like, yeah. I don't think they had a gradual build up. I think they just went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I meant more so like once she already got to that 100, it was slowly progressing worse.
Yeah,
because she wasn't like when she
saying.
got to that 100, she didn't go straight into floating off the bed form of Reagan.
Yeah, I just think they didn't show it very like.
She started to
like
be
she was
mean.
fine, and then she was like talking to the doctor like, I'll do it myself. I was like, oh, okay,
all right, calm down.
Chill.
The next scene, the bouncing bed, where she's on the bed and it's just bouncing and rocking her around, and that was immediately after she gave her the sponge bath, and Chris jumps on the bed
with her to
try and stop the bed from bouncing. That honestly would be pretty terrifying if I was in that position, just seeing like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, the doctors try to explain it from like a rational, I guess, point of view, but like,
yeah, but they didn't see
the bed. That was way higher than any muscle spasm, could get. That wasn't a muscle spasm, even though they thought it was.
Definitely a muscle spasm, for sure, Doc.
And I have written here that I like that this whole scenario happening is a play and wearing down of everyone's psychology, their mind is kind of being manipulated here. The mom starts to go crazy, the daughter starts to go crazy, you know what I mean? Like, everyone seems to be almost like being tortured. If I was the mom,
I'd be losing my mind too. I couldn't even imagine.
Oh, absolutely. But it just seems like they have a good tearing down of their mind a little bit. Of their psyche, exactly.
That would destroy me too.
And immediately after that is her crab walking down the stairs.
That was okay. So I know a lot of this was supposed to be like scary, but that kind of made me giggle.
Yeah,
it looks kind of funny.
It does look kind of funny. That wasn't even supposed to be in the movie originally, because the little trivia here, the woman that they got to do that scene, because a 12-year-old girl can't do that.
Nah.
They got like an expert,
like
acrobatic woman.
Yeah, gymnast,
professional gymnast, to do this scene, and it was her being supported by wires and a harness, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And they just dangled her over the steps, and she just pretended like she was crawling. But the reason it wasn't supposed to be in the movie originally was because it didn't look real. It looked like she was literally floating over the stairs. And they did in 1973, they didn't have a way to get rid of the wires that was holding her. So it didn't even come into the movie, I think, until the 90s or early 2000s, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that version that we watched.
Yeah.
We watched this movie together, sort of. I watched it the other day, and I was going to give her my Vudu password so she could watch it while I still had it rented, so we didn't both rent the same movie. But she didn't have time to watch it, so we just watched it on the couch, even though I already seen it. But the version that we watched was I forget what they called it, but it was basically like uncut, unrated version.
On Vudu, right?
On Vudu, yeah. So it was called like the version you've never seen cut or something like that. I forget what it was called.
You've never seen this before.
Yeah, kinda. And that's one of the parts, is her crawling down the stairs wasn't even in the original 73 version. They weren't able to cut out the wires that you would have just seen them in the movie. The head turning.
Yeah, how the hell did they do that?
Very well for a 70s horror movie.
You know, honestly, I wish I could just do it one time, get a good neck crack in.
Oh yeah, that would feel wonderful.
Oh yeah.
But being possessed isn't really worth that neck crack. Not for me, at least. I don't want to be bounced off the bed like I'm headbanging and
for a nice neck cracking.
Yeah, that's not
Okay.
me. Sorry.
Whatever.
But
no fun.
that seems like a very good animatronic use for 70s.
Yeah, it was done really well.
The makeup was really well.
Mm-hmm.
Her contact, even though she probably couldn't see very well out of them, were very good. The makeup was really good.
I agree.
And this head turning thing and the way they did it, you could kind of see that her legs were fake. You know, you could kind of tell her legs were fake. And then she turned her head, right? I don't know how they did it exactly, but it was obviously some sort of animatronic thing. And then the scene where you just see her from head up talking, like in the backwards, and the way they did her hair and the way they shot it, it made it seem like she was still with her head turned around. It was a really good shot to see that her head was turned that way. And they really made it seem like, you know, they were trying to keep the continuity going.
It was very disturbing.
Very disturbing.
I like when, I mean, I don't like it, but when the priest starts just punching her in the face.
All the way
like,
at
how
the
did
end.
you not do this sooner? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I probably would be doing that way before it got to that.
Well, yeah, but he had.
But that's
had
why
hit
I'm not
his
a
limit.
priest, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But he had hit his limit at that point. Marin was helping him.
I don't have
stay
that kind
collected.
of patience.
Yeah, I don't either. I would have got mad a long time ago too. But it takes us into the next scene. The priest meeting Reagan and gets vomit on his face.
Looks like slime from Nickelodeon.
It really does. But
Disgusting.
it's disgusting. You want to know something?
I
though?
would vomit. What?
Some trivia for that scene too is that the vomit cannon, I guess you could call it.
Vomit cannon.
Yeah, it misfired. It was supposed to hit him in the chest.
Oh no.
But it shot him in the face. So that disgust and anger that's on his face in the movie is genuine, because he was actually really mad that happened. And then it had to cut right there because he apparently started yelling at the director and stuff right after that, because it got in his mouth, it got in his eyes and his nose. Understandably, he was angry.
Yeah, I would have
But
been
that was a
pissed.
genuine look on his face.
Oh, I probably would have threw up.
Me too. There's no way that
Ugh.
tasted good. It
Wonder
probably
what it was.
it probably tasted like slime, like
It looked like snot. It just looked like a big snot rocket.
Honestly, it might have been the same slime as Nickelodeon for all we know. I could have taken it from there.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we need some of that.
We need some of
Shooting a
that.
movie. Can we get some?
Or they just asked how they got it or made it or
Where do you
whatever.
get your slime from? Who's your slime dealer?
Who's your slime guy?
Who's your slime guy?
That proof of possession scene where he's talking to her and talking to the demon and he's recording it. And he starts hearing, you know, her speak in tongues and languages that no 12-year-old girl would know. And that's pretty creepy.
It is pretty creepy. I agree.
I don't know what I would do if I was in that situation.
See, first of all, I wouldn't be in that situation.
No, me either. But
Fuck that.
it's still a point, if you were put in that situation, you kind of have to think of it like, what do I do?
What's the next step here?
Like, this is absolute proof of a possession. What do you want me to do? Where do I go from here?
I would just start freaking out,
Oh, yeah.
screaming. I'd be like, get out of here. Do you pay the rent? No. You pay bills here? Get out.
You can live here if you pay bills.
You wanna pick up a bill? Cause stay. You can stay if you want.
This is also the next where they're talking about having a professional in exorcism come in and do the exorcism, and Father Karras, I believe is his name was? Was it Karras or
Karras?
Karen? No, Karras.
Damien was his
Dimmy.
first. Dimmy.
Father Karras, I believe his name was, he can assist. And we're going into meeting, or having Marin come meet the house and everything. There's the famous picture that was used on posters, on the DVD cover, the VHS cover, and when we rented the movie, it was the picture showing for the Exorcist, was when he gets out of the taxi and he's standing in the light looking up at the house and you just see his silhouette. That's such a great shot.
Love it.
Shows the eerie sense of what's going on in that house, and it kind of shows like how he's just coming in as a nobody, knowing nothing about what's going on. Other than the fact of that there needs to be an exorcism done. He didn't know who it was, really. He didn't know any of the history or the background. He didn't even want to know the background, you know? So he was just, it showed him all in black, like he was an outsider to this creepy environment of what's happening.
I think I'd be the same way. I'd be like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I'm just going to get in there and do it.
Just don't bother me.
Don't even say anything.
And then it takes us right into the exorcism beginning. It's very unsettling, everything that's going on. Because actually we might have passed it up. I think I might have forgot to write it down, but the cross scene.
Which one, where she finds it?
No.
Oh my god, that one.
Yeah, everyone knows which
rough.
one we're talking about. That's rough.
I mean, I've only seen parts of the movie, so when I saw that I was like, oh.
It's unsettling and rough.
Ouchie.
It's a rough movie. It's an ouchie movie.
Oy.
That scene in the movie was actually like watered down compared to the book.
Oh wow.
Like it was much worse than the book. I just read that
goodness.
somewhere that it was way worse than the book. I didn't actually read the book for this one. But there's the famous line that is in Scary Movie as well. Do you want to say it?
No,
say it. Go ahead.
No. Nope.
For you might want to skip ahead about 15 seconds for anyone that doesn't want to hear some swear words. Starting now. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. That scene.
So fucked.
That's such a
that's
messed
so
up.
messed up.
And that's
like, his mom's like dead. Like and I think he yelled, "Shut up!"
Yeah, no, not at that time.
No, that wasn't
he
the
said
part.
it later. Yeah, a little bit later.
I would have told her to shut up too.
But like, that's such an unsettling thing for a demon to say to you, especially something like his
why
mom.
Would you? I'd literally be like, "Why are you bringing my mom into it?"
Yeah, what does she have to do with
insult me?
Yeah, insult
I'm
me.
Here.
I'm the one that's still alive.
Leave her alone.
Yeah, that line's in Scary Movie as well, and it's actually kind of funnier in that movie, but
because it's supposed to be serious.
It's supposed to be, yeah. So that line in Scary Movie is supposed to be funny, and it is funny, but in Exorcist, it's really disturbing and unsettling.
Especially hearing your 12-year-old daughter say that?
Yeah, imagine how Chris was feeling, listening to her daughter speak and act like this. I can see why she was driven nuts, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you know, it's a very long process of the exorcism. It's playing a lot on the minds of the priests, on the mind of Reagan and Chris, and you can kind of tell at which point Father Karras knows that he has to kind of do what is necessary. You kind of see that look on his face that he's like, well, if this is the way I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out fighting. And then he walks up the stairs really slowly.
Yeah.
She asked him, is my daughter gonna die? And he looks at her and he said, no.
Well, he said, no, she said, is she gonna die and is it over? She has two questions.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Yeah, so he walks slowly up the stairs because he realizes that he's gonna do anything to save this girl. And it's just kind of like a whirlwind ending that I have written down here next, because you go from this incredibly terrifying scene and all this incredibly scary stuff happening, her head turning around, her floating off the bed, screaming at them, saying insults and all this other stuff, and all these horrible things are happening, and then all of a sudden he sacrifices himself, says, come into me, take me. And you see for a split second he's trying to take over the priest. You see his face come out, but he fights against it
and jumps out
the window. And the other priest comes and says the last rites, and
I think that was his good friend too.
He was. They were good friends throughout the whole movie.
Kind of a bummer that both the priests died.
Yeah.
Kind of a bummer.
Because I liked Marin, and I liked Father Karras. He was a good dude. You know, he was very nice.
It just sucks that, I mean, in the end, you know, the girl's okay, the mom's okay, but two people, well, was it two people that died?
3, technically. Bert, the director.
Yep, he died too.
And it sucks. I mean, the girl's fine, the family's fine, but 3 lives were spent to get to it.
What was the point of the lieutenant?
The detective?
Yeah.
He was trying to figure out who killed Burke, but
I guess,
at
like,
the end,
see, I don't think he had a very, like, important role. I think they're like, yeah, this possessed girl's just killing people, and he's like, okay.
I mean, he did get the answer towards the end.
Yeah.
But I'll skip the trivia for 1 second and just tell what we liked and disliked about the movie.
Okay.
I liked the fear. I liked the feeling of unease the whole movie. I liked the disturbing feeling I got from the movie and everything. I like how I felt watching this movie. I was very disturbed and uneasy, and there was a fear the whole movie. You know, it wasn't just like jump scares or anything. Like, there was legitimate terrifying things happening, and it was preceding that. Like, there was like a glimpse of Chris's face right before she crab walked down the stairs, and there was like a lot of things going on to make you feel that unease and fear. I like the actress for Regan. I thought she was excellent, even being 12 years old.
14.
14 I meant. She was very, very good in this movie. Oh, the feeling of dread. I put that a little lower than the fear, but the feeling of dread, the whole movie, just kept me in this state of being scared and feeling bad for the family the whole movie. Something that I didn't like, yeah, the detective kind of seemed like an unimportant role. Didn't seem like his role mattered much to the movie, but I didn't like how there's like a slow start in the beginning. It kind of started really slow.
Yeah, the very beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't hate, you know, the beginning or anything, or I don't hate this movie at all, you know, but I feel like it kind of had a slow start in the beginning. What did you like about the movie?
I like, well, it's a classic, so, you know.
Of course.
But I liked how, there were some parts that made me put my hand in my mouth, and I know when I do that I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that. I appreciate that.
The aesthetic.
The aesthetic, obviously. I like how the mom was like a successful single woman.
Well, she was married.
Was she married?
Yeah.
Where was her husband?
In Rome.
Doing what?
I forget what his job was, but he was working.
Technically,
she was by herself. She was on her own.
She was doing the thing.
But yeah, she was married. She had a father and everything.
Oh, I thought they were separated. My bad.
No, she wore a wedding ring the whole movie.
Oh shit. Well, I still liked her. She was
she did
boss lady
by herself.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really like the flow of the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of rushed in parts and slow in
Yeah,
others.
it just didn't flow very well, but I mean, that doesn't change much, but I was just like, oh, like when it was over, I was like, oh, okay. That was it? Okay.
It just kind of ended abruptly.
Yeah, I was just like, all right. I probably won't go out of my way to watch it again, but if it's on, I'll be like, okay. It's The Exorcist. The beginning, I kind of get why they put that in there, because the statue was later on, like, in front of her steps. Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
But who put it there? And why?
No, that was just one of Reagan's clay things.
Oh, she made it.
Yeah, she made that.
So now where did this demon come from? How does it connect with the beginning?
Well,
I don't get it.
Remember in the beginning when Marin was in
the
ruins
I remember all that.
And everything, and then there was that giant statue.
Yeah.
Well, that was the same demon that possessed Reagan.
Okay, but where did it come from?
What?
Like, he was all the way in another country.
Well,
did he bring it back with him, or was there a connection there? Like, what's the connection, you see? What I'm doing with my fingers?
The demon's name is Pazuzu.
Okay. And
when Reagan found that Ouija board...
Oh, yes, I forgot about that Ouija board.
She thought it was Captain
Howdy?
Yeah, I think it was Captain Howdy.
Something like that.
So Pazuzu was pretending to be this Captain Howdy to, you know, because there's always that myth that Ouija boards are like, oh, well, it might not be a myth for all we know.
I'm not touching a Ouija board.
I'm not touching one either, but it says if you use a Ouija board and you don't know how to use it properly, and you don't say, like, thank you
Yeah.
or something at the end.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I noticed she didn't say goodbye to it, and I was like, okay, it's coming together now.
That opens a portal for the demon to come through.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of the connection. Wasn't explained, obviously, but it was kind of the connection.
I forgot about the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about it.
Anything else you got?
Did you notice when he's in the subway and that guy's on the ground and asks for something? What did he ask for? To help out an old
altar boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said that.
Yeah.
Did you notice
later.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you help out a poor altar boy?
Yeah. Yep. So I wonder if she said that because he didn't help, or
that's one thing.
If that was
it's
another
weighing
demon
on his guilt.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of weighing on his guilt there. Yeah.
I was like, did you hear what she said?
Well, I got some trivia here.
Okay.
I think you'll like the second one, especially. So my first one, shots of the white face that you see all around the movie.
Yes,
that quick
I noticed
glimpses,
that. Yep.
That was Reagan's rejected makeup. So that was the different versions of her face that they were going to go with, that they said no to. But they thought that they were too scary to keep out of the movie entirely. So they put in quick glimpses of that face, of her makeup.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
That was also the demon face, of course.
Uh-huh.
But those were rejected makeup tests. So, for my second trivia that you'll like, Jack Nicholson was up for the part of Father Karras. But director thought that he was too unholy to play a priest.
That's funny.
So he's like, you're not holy enough to play a priest.
Period.
But you're a good actor.
That's really funny.
The Exorcist is the highest grossing movie for Warner Brothers when adjusted for inflation. It is also the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time.
Is it Warner Bros?
Yeah.
They were in the movie as well. Like when she was shooting for that movie and
yeah, that's why. That's why they were able
to
use it. Yep. Here's some more obscure little facts about like the set and whatnot. So when The Exorcist came out in 1973 in the theater, some banned the movie because they thought it was glorifying Satan, and others thought that it was too much for people to watch. But the places that played the theater, I can't remember if it was the theaters or the production company, actually set up rides to take people from cities to other cities that were showing the movie so they would go see it.
Oh wow.
Also, at the theaters, tons of paramedics were called from people passing out and going crazy and stuff.
What?
Yeah, from people being in hysterics because of how...
Sounds like people at a Michael Jackson concert.
Yeah, pretty much. But like people were going hysterical and passing out due to how like gruesome some of that stuff was. In 1973, that wasn't really seen all that much. In the mental hospital when he went to visit his mother, those were real mental patients.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did they get paid?
I'm sure they did, but like those were actual real patients going in there.
Damn.
I said the puke misfire one. So you noticed how their breath was in a lot of the movie, right? It was because it was cold in the room and stuff.
Yeah.
The way they actually did that was they actually built the set inside of a refrigerator. So like one of the industrial size ones for like sheets and stuff, like coolers and whatnot.
Like the beer cave.
Yeah, like beer caves and stuff. They actually built the set in there of the bedroom to get that correct sense of their... And the actress for Reagan is actually, to this day, says that she can't stand to be cold anymore because she was just wearing a flimsy nightgown.
Oh my god, I would freeze my little tootsies off.
She cannot stand being cold now, to this day.
Period.
And the last trivia that I have is that neck snapping sound that you hear, like when she turns her head around, was an old cracked leather wallet with cards in it. So they just made the sound of them opening the wallet. It was an old cracked leather wallet, and it was just making that neck snapping sounds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So what would you rate this movie?
Like a 6.
6, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't have a reason?
It wasn't my, like... I mean, I thought she was creepy. She's definitely a creepy character. But...
You did say earlier you wouldn't go out of your way to watch it again.
Yeah, I wouldn't... I'm not gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna watch The Exorcist tonight. But it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'm gonna give it a 7.8, and my reason being that it's not higher is that because it's kind of a slow start, and like you were saying earlier, it's like slow in areas and really fast in areas.
Jumps.
Yeah, so there's kind of a flow issue in the movie, but it is a classic. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
But it could have been a little bit better. But the reason I have it a little higher than you do to, for me, is because of the prosthetic work.
Okay, I get it.
The makeup, the Reagan's actress. You know, the way that the movie was done in itself is really, really well done. There was just a few things that could have been a little bit slower, could have been a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But all in all, it is a good movie, and it is a very good scary movie too. Yeah. So do you have anything you want to add?
I think that's all from me.
Okay. Well, that is our discussion on The Exorcist for this week, and our next episode is going to be
Halloween.
with
the
a little
original
bit
John Carpenter's Halloween.
with a little Halloween special.
Thriller.
We got to talk
We're
about
gonna talk
Thriller.
about Thriller.
Of course, it's a Halloween classic. Everyone
We
listens
have
to that
to.
song on Halloween. So
We're gonna talk about the Thriller mini movie.
the 13-minute music
Yep,
video.
Period.
Okay, so that's all this week. We'll talk to you next week when we talk about Halloween. Thank you.
Catch you later.